In short, Seraphim symbolize the fiery and passionate spirit. Cherubim represent deep understanding of divine wisdom, and thrones are the closest to God, receiving his initial revelations. They represent a ceaseless and intense divine energy that constantly promotes spiritual growth for those under their influence. They are created from this uncreated divine energy. Only God knows the power, illumination, and sacred duties of his angels. We will not be able to comprehend the mystery of this super celestial intelligence and all their sacred perfections without the teachings imparted to us by God through his ministers, who possess deep insights into their nature. Theology has provided interpretative names for 9 types of heavenly beings, and within this category, 3 groups are distinguished, each with 3 ranks. At the highest level of all, there are beings who are always in the presence of God, united with him, and closest to him above all others. The Holy Scripture reveals that the holy thrones, which have many eyes and wings and are known in Hebrew as cherubim and seraphim, stand directly around God and have the most special closeness to him, surpassing the others. This hierarchy with 3 levels is described by the noble hierarchy as an equal unity, being the closest to God and united directly with the divine energy. The second order contains might, virtue, and dominion. And the last and lowest choir of the celestial intelligences is called angels, archangels, and princes. There are 9 orders of angels, representing the 9 archetypes within God, and each one acquires a name corresponding to the properties within God that they represent. Furthermore, the cherubim are those who can be called wisdom full of love, just as the first one can be called wisdom full of wisdom. This is because there is love and wisdom in all of them. But in the first, due to their closeness to God, the true light, these qualities exist in a much higher degree. This is the distinction between this last order, that in the last one, knowledge originates from love, while in the first one, love originates from knowledge. In the third rank, there are those who, due to their unity, simplicity, steadfastness, and strength, are sometimes called thrones and sometimes seats. They themselves are also wise and full of love, but in their simplicity, they possess attributes of unity. Strength, steadfastness, and might, attributes similar to those held by cherubim and seraphim. Regarding seraphim, cherubim, and thrones, and their first hierarchy, when we talk about seraphim, cherubim, thrones, and their first hierarchy, we are actually discussing celestial entities that play a significant role in the divine order. Their names reflect their nature and characteristics. Seraphim, for example, are always passionate and fervent in understanding the divine principles. They represent a ceaseless and intense divine energy that constantly promotes spiritual growth for those under their influence. They are created from this uncreated divine energy. The divine energy is distinct from the divine essence. This is the understanding of ancient Eastern theology. The unseen God is also the God who can be seen. God is ineffable, yet he can also be described. God is hidden, yet he reveals himself. God remains a mystery, yet his clarity shines through. This teaches us that the God who veils himself is also the God who discloses himself. When we speak of the attributes of God as the ineffable, as the unseen and hidden, we must understand that we are speaking about the nature of God, because the essence nature of God is so vast for us. It is merely darkness that the mind cannot grasp. We cannot unite with the essence of God. Including the angels, the essence of God is dark to them, beyond their comprehension. On the other hand, when we say that God can be understood, seen clearly, and reveals himself. We must understand that we are speaking about the glory of God, energy of God, not the essence, nature of God. Angels are created from the river of fire that flows before God. Daniel 7:10, meaning they originate from the uncreated divine fire. This uncreated divine fire is the divine energy, as believed by the ancient Eastern Church.
A river of fire was streaming forth, and proceeding from his presence. Many thousands were ministering to him. Many tens of thousands stood ready to serve him. The court convened and the books were opened. Daniel 7:10 net.
Furthermore, cherubim are those who can be called wisdom full of love, much like the first can be called wisdom full of wisdom. This is because there is love and wisdom in all of them. But in the first, due to their closeness to God, the true light, these qualities exist at a much higher level. They have deep insight into the beauty of the divine essence in its first manifestation and radiate knowledge and wisdom to those below them. Thrones, on the other hand, are those who approach God more closely than others. They receive the first revelations from God and gain an earlier understanding of the divine essence. They play a crucial role in carrying out God's will. In short, Seraphim symbolize the fiery and passionate spirit. Cherubim represent deep understanding of divine wisdom, and thrones are the closest to God, receiving his initial revelations. The name thrones, the most noble and highest, indicates that those who occupy them are shielded from worldly and lowly matters and reach a very elevated level. They are not entangled in lowly affairs, but live in the fullness of divine power, perfectly established in the presence of the Most High. They receive divine emanations surpassing earthly desires and materialism, and they radiate the presence of God through divine participation. This is the meaning of their names as far as we can understand. The primary goal of every hierarchy is to wholly devote themselves to uniting with the divine and achieving likeness to God. The entire task of the hierarchy is to participate in spreading divine purification, divine light, and perfect knowledge. This hierarchy clearly shares characteristics and has a close relationship with the first beings created after the divine will of God. They originate from God as the source of their existence and surpass all the powers of creation, both visible and invisible. Therefore, we must acknowledge that they are pure entities, not the result of purification from impurity or lowliness, but entities that are much higher than what is low in nature, exceeding all holiness. They are established upon the highest divine power and perpetually maintain their unchanging identity through God's eternal love, remaining steadfast without weakening.